Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with One Punch Man. That's what we're watching. Last time on One Punch Man, we had the martial arts tournament, where outside of the martial arts tournament, there were a bunch of monsters that were on the loose and going after a bunch of heroes. Meanwhile, Metal Bat was dealing with Garo and putting up a decent fight, but he had a bit of a disadvantage because he was already weakened from fighting Churro, however you call it. And so yeah, he was taken down, but he was not killed, luckily. Meanwhile, Saitama has entered the martial arts tournament as Chiranko, and we get a bit of a talk about the difference between martial artists and heroes, which was actually pretty interesting. And then we did get to start to see Saitama fight, but it was over immediately, as Geno suspected. So we'll have to see if Saitama will really get to see true martial arts close up. We'll have to see. Well, he definitely will, at least I assume, once he faces Garo, whenever that's going to happen. We're kind of just waiting for that at this point, but that's alright. Yeah, this is where I say no spoilers in the comments. This is also where I say that the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So let's go ahead and get started with this episode of One Punch Man. Here we go. So, this isn't like, we're not doing like, we've been sitting here waiting, basically, for Saitama versus Garo. It's kind of what they established, like, okay, that's our big fight. Garo is our villain. But if anything, he's almost like Saitama in this, that he's not technically part of the plot. Like, the plot right now seems to be the heroes versus the monsters, with the Hero Association and the Monster King Orochi. Meanwhile, Garo is taking on the heroes, and Saitama is taking on the martial artists. So, yeah, it honestly... Okay, so it's a bit different. It is a bit different. Genos is out. They confirmed again Metal Bat is out. Now, they said Metal Knight is out, but we do know that was just a drone. That wasn't actually him, so presumably he could have another suit out there. Who knows? Something I thought after last episode, because I went on my whole rant about Metal Knight. I should clarify, at least, that when Churro started running away, the drone did grab on and followed. So, technically, and I mean very technically, yes, Metal Knight was doing his job, but still. Oh, boy. And man, it's interesting. This whole thing is very interesting, like, we're really testing the heroes, I feel like, We're really testing them down to the martial artists, really looking down on heroes, Martial artists are really looking down on heroes here. And it's just so interesting. Especially because, I want to see how this guy, which I can never remember his name. I'm going to try to go back and see if I can get his name. I can never remember it, so... Oh, whoopsies, that was way too far back. Sorry, went way too far back.
Expected that we're out there like him. That man there might satisfy Master's wish to experience.
This will take me a minute. Okay. Suiryu? Sweet. I'm assuming that's how you say it. Suiryu. Suiru? Sweet. The guy. I'm not going to get his fucking name ever. So I really tried to get his name here, but I'm just not going to be able to. Now, what point was I making? Damn it, I forgot. Okay, so martial artists looking down on heroes. Okay, I guess what I was going to say was, how does this guy stack among heroes? You know? Because it's like, okay, he's taken on a couple of the Class A's, but, like, where does this guy land among the Class S heroes? You know? Because that's the thing. Now, Garo is pretty decent. He's up there. He is in the league of the Class S heroes, as evidenced by him taking on both Tank Top Master and Metal Bat, you know? And the fact that he was taught by a Class S hero, you know? He was taught by Silverfang. So I'm curious how this guy, Suiryu, how does he rank among the Class S heroes? Obviously, this guy is not going to beat Saitama. I'm going to severely doubt he could beat Genos, you know? Now, granted, Genos is sort of the punching bag of the show, you know? Like, if you really want to show how powerful an enemy is, you have them beat Genos. So, there is at least that. But still, like, I don't know. I don't know. I want to know how well this guy would rank up, you know? Okay, so we got a lot in this one. A lot. This arc is really interesting right now, you know? Just this Monster Uprising mixed with Garo and the martial arts tournament, you know? So I wrote down easy life. So here's something that you could sort of infer from these martial artists. I mean, you know, obviously everyone has their own purpose. But for a lot of them, what is that purpose? You know? Like for this guy, he's saying, well, I became a martial artist to have an easy life. Okay, I guess I can understand that. But it just seems so odd. Like, you became so strong, but you're not really doing anything with that, you know? Like, when the guy says, you know, when he says, like, oh, well, like, oh, I can be on your level and get into Class A. Like, oh, why would you even be a hero if you're not really that strong? And here's something this guy doesn't understand, is that that's not the point of being a hero at all. Look at Moomin Rider. Moomin Rider, he is a guy with a bicycle. But he is a hero. But he does everything in his power to try to save people. You're really strong. What are you doing with your life? What are you doing to benefit society? Which is this strange thing that, you know, it's like, oh, the hero, if you go the hero route, you're just taking the easy way out. Really? Hero is the easy way out? Really? And of course they say this, that, you know, last episode they say, like, oh, well, heroes take the easy way out. You know, it's like, really? What about this guy who's literally living the easy way out? Like, that's all he wanted. He just wanted to live the easy way out, so he became strong. Does he do anything with that? No. It's so strange, you know? I did write down the monsters versus the martial artists, which was interesting, that it's like, yeah, if monsters do attack the stadium, there are martial artists there that could take them all down. Like, well, yeah, that's true. Now, granted, at that point, you'd probably think they'd be acting like vigilantes, although Saitama was technically for a few years, but still. You know, it's like, you know, would they actually do that? I mean, yeah, they'd probably defend themselves, but they're not heroes, you know? They're not heroes. But it's just interesting to think about that, you know, seeing the idea of them fighting the monsters. And yeah, that's just the thing, survival. It's like, oh, those who will survive, those who can survive will survive. And it's like, okay, you don't have morals. Good job, like, you're a martial artist, you're strong, but you're only going to use that for yourself. Like, if you're thinking like, well, why would I even, why would I be a hero? Why would I try to save people? I don't need to. What's the point? It's like, to use your power for good, That's the thing where, you get someone like Snake, who is 10 times a better man than this guy. I hope you guys do understand every time who I mean when I refer to this guy, because that's all I'm going to be calling him from now on, is this guy. So this guy's talking about, survival of the fittest and stuff, and it's like, Snake is 10 times the man you are, because even if he's not super powerful, he will do everything in his power to fight for the people, to be a hero, And it's like, when they say to, like, Max, it's like, oh, well, so you trained with some lofty values. Like, lofty values, he is a hero. That's not... So, it's just a strange thing, these martial artists that look down on heroes, It's like, when heroes, by definition, are better people than you, At least because, Now, there can be martial artists that don't look down on people, Like Chiranko, the actual Chiranko, he doesn't look down on heroes, He understands them. He doesn't look down on heroes as a martial artist. So, it's just... I don't know. It's so strange. And then, the fact that Class S Rank 3 is not only a hero, but a martial artist. And they say it's like, oh, well, he went off to play heroes. Like, no, he went to go save people. And I'm sorry that you want him here and you have no morals, you have no morality, that you can't understand why Silverfang would go off to try to save people from, his rogue disciple, I don't know, it's just so strange, just how much, I guess, how much division there is between heroes and martial artists. Like, it's so fascinating to see. Let's see, what else did we have? We had Demon Cyborg. I did like that Genos going out and getting his paycheck, although at the end he did seem to be defeated by that big guy that's headed for the stadium. Again, though, this guy's headed for the stadium. Well, there's a bunch of martial artists and Saitama there, so yeah, we'll have to see. But again, good fights. I mean, it's been a little while since we've seen Genos really fight, so that was really cool. We had Saitama versus Bakuzan, which he almost had it. Like, obviously those moves would not have affected Saitama at all, but if he had just let it happen, he would have at least seen martial arts, up close and personal. But no, touch the head and bam, he's out. So yeah, that's just that. I also wrote down the adhesive that Genos used. I thought that was very clever. And it is interesting that's like, okay, he has an adhesive to trap opponents that are faster than him. But he doesn't like to use it because that acknowledges that his opponent is better than him, He's not beating them with his power. He's beating them, basically with a trick. And he doesn't want to use that against Sonic because that would acknowledge that Sonic is better than him, which is interesting. Where's Sonic in all this? He's just, like, chilling out. Obviously, he's probably not going to do much because Sonic is, he's not a hero. He's just sort of a guy. But yeah, it's also interesting, because we had a bit of Genos at the tournament saying, oh, it's interesting that, how many people are out there that are strong but aren't heroes, Which, I mean, that's true, because Saitama, obviously, is our first example of that. But also, this guy and everyone else, as well as Sonic. He was just a dude, Like, granted, yeah, when we first meet him, he was, like, hired security or something. But it's like, no, he was just a guy. He wasn't a hero, but he was that damn good, So, it's just interesting, you know? Let's see. We had that moment between Blizzard and Tornado, which was interesting. So when Blizzard is, injured, basically, when she's severely injured, it basically calls out to Tornado, and so she came and saved her, which is interesting. Man, I was hoping we could see Blizzard kick some ass. I like Blizzard. So yeah, when Tornado comes over and she saves the day and starts giving her crap, and I was like, oh, but Blizzard, but I like Blizzard, She probably could be the top of Class A if it wasn't for a My Mask, A My Mask who apparently was getting into trouble, as we saw, because he was at a concert and just things started exploding behind him. It's like, oh man, maybe a My Mask will actually have to do something. Anyway. I want to see My Mask get his ass kicked. Oh, well. But that was an interesting moment between Blizzard and Tornado. I do like, because it's like, okay, yeah, it's so Tornado's the older sibling, right? Even though she looks younger, because I think, the villain says, like, oh, I want to meet your younger sister, and then Blizzard says, like, oh, you'll meet my big sister. And so I assume then that Tornado's the older one. I like, though, she's giving her younger sister crap. I do like that they went with the oversimplified drawing again. I thought that was funny. So, yeah, it's good to see Tornado again. We haven't seen her all season, basically. And, yeah, it's just good to see her, especially just to see how powerful she is again. But I want more of Blizzard. I've been endeared to Blizzard now, and I just want more of her. So, anyway. But yeah, and then we had the whole thing with, survival. It's like, oh, those who can survive will survive, and those who can't won't. And it's like, or you could help people, do something with your powers. Not just defend yourself, but do something for society that we live in, And then at the end, we did get the tease, the boss of the monsters, the Monster King Orochi, who apparently has a much larger plan in place, which is interesting. And pretty much no Garo in this episode, which is interesting. Again, we kind of set up from the beginning, it's like, oh, Garo, he's going to be our big villain. And so you're sitting here like, okay, well, we just got to kind of wait until we get Saitama versus Garo. But then this whole monster thing is just sort of cropped up to where it's like, well, is Garo really? Like, obviously, I feel like Garo is our main villain, but maybe he's not. Maybe he's just there doing this at the same time. So we'll have to see, definitely. But yeah, I'm very intrigued. I'm really loving just this season, just the arc. And I loved season 1, and I thought it was really great, with the more episodic feel. But this one I'm really, really getting into, especially just with these colliding philosophies of heroism versus martial arts, So I'm definitely really interested, and I can't wait to see where we're going next time. So that is basically it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my One Punch Man reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure to hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.